Something quiet happens after 40. It does not announce itself. There is no warning sign, no single moment where everything changes. But slowly, something inside shifts. Before, standards came from confidence, from choice, from believing life was wide and time was plenty. After 40, that feeling begins to fade. Time feels louder, mistakes feel heavier, the future feels closer. What once sounded like standards starts to sound like defense. Rules replace curiosity. Control replaces openness. Pride becomes protection. This shift is not evil. It is human. It grows from disappointment, from lessons learned the hard way, from pain that never fully healed. But here is the danger. Defense feels like strength, even when it is fear. And fear changes how people love, how they choose, how they connect. Most never notice the shift. They just feel colder relationships, missed chances, and quiet loneliness. Today, we expose what is really happening. This story matters more than most people are willing to admit. In earlier years, standards are about direction. They guide you toward better choices, healthier people, and stronger futures. They are built from hope, not fear. But after 40, standards often change their purpose. They stop being tools for growth and start becoming walls. Instead of asking, "Does this help me grow?" the question becomes, "How do I avoid getting hurt again?" This is where defense begins. Pain teaches lessons, but unresolved pain creates armor, and armor feels powerful. It feels smart. It feels safe, yet it quietly blocks connection. Standards turn rigid. Flexibility disappears. People are judged faster. Grace runs out sooner. Not because wisdom increased, but because trust decreased. What looks like high self-respect is often emotional self-protection, and protection, when taken too far, becomes isolation. This is the dangerous shift, when standards are no longer about choosing better, but about keeping distance. Growth invites life in, defense keeps life out. Most people don't realize when this happens. They just feel relationships becoming harder, colder, and shorter, and they blame the world, never the wall they built themselves. This is where many futures quietly collapse without noise or drama. Desire needs openness. It needs curiosity, risk, and the willingness to be seen. Defense kills all three. After 40, many people don't lose desire, they bury it. Not because they don't want connection, but because connection now feels expensive. They've been disappointed, betrayed, taken for granted. So the mind learns a new rule: don't feel too much. At first, this feels mature, calm, controlled. But over time, attraction weakens. Excitement fades. Emotional energy drops. What remains is caution pretending to be wisdom. Defense changes how people relate. They analyze instead of feel. They test instead of trust. They stay guarded even when interest is real. This is why chemistry becomes rare. Not because good people disappeared, but because openness did. Desire is not logical. It cannot survive constant evaluation. The moment everything becomes filtered through fear, desire shuts down quietly. Many think they are being selective. In reality, they are being unavailable. And the tragedy is this: the same walls built to avoid pain also block pleasure, intimacy, and deep connection. Nothing dramatic breaks, nothing obvious fails. Desire just slowly disappears, and most never understand why. After 40, what once felt like high standards can quietly shift into defense. At first it is subtle, a line drawn here, a rule set there. It feels reasonable, strong even. But underneath, fear is the engine. Standards are meant to guide choice. Defense is meant to prevent pain. The difference is invisible at first. A rule about who qualifies to enter your life starts as self-respect. Over time, it becomes a wall. Curiosity is replaced by caution, openness by control. Patience is replaced by quick judgment. People around you notice the change. Men, friends, even family sense it. Interactions feel measured. Conversations feel tested. Love begins to feel conditional. Smiles feel polite. Interest feels calculated. Defense is not confidence. It is fear wearing rules. This fear hides behind logic, personality, and past wisdom. Its effect is real. It blocks connection, limits attraction, and slowly isolates. What looks like strength may actually be a quiet surrender to fear. Defense feels safe. Desire feels risky. After 40, many people unconsciously choose safety over passion. Pain from past mistakes lingers, whispering, "Better safe than sorry." Desire asks for vulnerability. It asks to be seen, to trust, to risk disappointment. Defense asks only for caution. It promises control. It promises no surprises. Locked doors feel secure, nothing new enters, and nothing familiar leaves. This safety is seductive. It masks itself as wisdom. People around you see only high standards or maturity. But inside, desire is quietly suppressed. Excitement fades. Curiosity disappears. Emotional energy drops. Over time, the mind starts to confuse protection with strength, and the heart starts to believe that avoiding pain is the same as living fully. Defense shields from hurt, but it also blocks love, intimacy, and real connection. It feels safe. But slowly, it empties life from relationships, leaving only caution in its place. Attraction needs openness. It needs curiosity, excitement, and emotional presence. Defense destroys all three. After 40, many people unknowingly build walls that stop attraction before it even begins. Men feel it first. They notice the cautious tone, the tested questions, the measured smiles. What once felt spontaneous now feels calculated. Effort is required to earn attention, approval, or even basic warmth. Defense replaces choice with evaluation. Polarity disappears. Chemistry fades. The spark that once drew people together quietly dims. Men no longer feel desired, they feel judged. Interest is met with scrutiny instead of warmth. Emotional distance grows. The more someone protects themselves, the harder it becomes to connect. Desire cannot survive constant testing. Openness is mistaken for weakness. Vulnerability is replaced by rules. Even when someone wants love, defense creates a barrier. Connection feels conditional. Intimacy is postponed. What looks like selectivity is often unavailability. Attraction dies slowly, not from lack of good people, but from a closed heart unwilling to take the risk to feel fully. Behind high standards after 40, there is often hidden anger. Not loud anger, quiet, simmering, almost invisible, but it shapes choices. It comes from regret, from missed chances, from moments that could have been different. Pain teaches lessons, but unhealed pain becomes judgment. Every rule, every boundary, every test is tinged with frustration. People are unconsciously protecting old wounds, trying not to feel disappointment again. This anger isn't always directed outward. Sometimes it turns inward, creating self-criticism, doubt, and insecurity. It masquerades as wisdom or experience, but underneath is a mix of fear and resentment. Relationships feel the impact, men sense the tension, friends feel the caution, opportunities for connection are lost. Defense protects the heart, but it also carries hidden weight. What looks like strength often masks unresolved emotions. Understanding this hidden anger is crucial because until it is acknowledged, walls remain, and true openness cannot return. Men notice the shift before anyone else. Emotional walls are easier to sense than to see. Conversations feel colder, humor feels measured, interest feels tested. Respect slowly changes into tension. When desire turns into defense, men no longer feel chosen, they feel evaluated. Every word, every gesture is quietly weighed. Effort is required just to pass the invisible test. This creates distance even when feelings are genuine. Men instinctively pick up on subtle cues, hesitation, skepticism, guarded smiles. What once felt natural now feels like performance. Emotional energy is drained. Polarity disappears. The connection that once flowed freely becomes strained. He feels evaluated, not desired. The danger is that men often respond by withdrawing. They sense the coldness, the walls, the caution. Attraction fades not because of lack of interest, but because openness has been replaced by rules. When defense leads, relationships lose warmth, spontaneity, and intimacy, even when love is still possible. This shift is not about blame. Not every woman experiences it. It is not about hate, judgment, or failure. Patterns exist, and recognizing them does not make someone bad. Life, disappointment, and emotional lessons shape behavior. Defense is human, a natural response to past pain. Awareness is not criticism, it is understanding. Ignoring these patterns can cause damage. Relationships become harder, communication breaks down, and emotional distance grows. Men feel disconnected, women feel frustrated, and both feel misunderstood. The point is not to point fingers. The point is to notice the subtle shift before it costs connection, intimacy, and trust. Understanding this is the first step toward change. Awareness allows growth. It allows calm, informed choices rather than unconscious reactions. Defense is natural, but living in it unchecked creates loss, not strength. Living in defense comes with a hidden cost. At first it feels smart, even protective. But over time it quietly steals connection, intimacy, and joy. Walls keep pain out, but they also keep love, excitement, and trust out. Opportunities for deep connection are missed. Moments that could bring growth or closeness are avoided. Loneliness creeps in, often unnoticed at first. Defense teaches caution, but it also teaches isolation. Conversations feel safer but emptier. Relationships feel predictable but shallow. What once brought warmth now feels conditional and distant. Self-sabotage becomes normal. Fear replaces desire. Choices are made to avoid loss, not to create happiness. The heart becomes a guarded space, and the mind convinces itself that this is wisdom. The truth is hard. Defense protects today, but costs tomorrow. It may feel strong, but it slowly erodes connection, attraction, and the very intimacy that makes life meaningful. Healthy standards feel different from defense. They are calm, confident, and inviting. They set boundaries without fear and create space for growth without shutting life out. Standards built on confidence say, I know my worth, and I choose what serves me. They do not say, I must protect myself at all costs. They allow curiosity, openness, and connection. They invite rather than repel. People feel it. Men feel chosen, not tested. Friends feel warmth, not scrutiny. Conversations flow naturally, and chemistry thrives. Healthy standards balance patience with clarity. They do not punish or judge. They create conditions for growth while maintaining self-respect. The difference is subtle but powerful. Standards guide. Defense controls. Standards open doors. Defense closes them. Living with real standards allows desire, attraction, and love to coexist with self-respect. It creates life that feels abundant, not restricted, and relationships that feel safe but alive. Awareness is power. Understanding the shift from standards to defense allows you to see yourself clearly without blame or shame. After 40, life changes, but fear does not have to control your choices. Calm strength is different from control. It is measured, reflective, and confident. It trusts life enough to remain open while staying true to yourself. It chooses growth over protection, connection over isolation, and awareness over reaction. Defense may feel safe, but it comes at a cost. Walls block pain, yes, but they also block love, desire, and intimacy. Standards built from confidence, not fear, guide without shutting life out. They invite people in rather than keeping them at arm's length. Remember this, true strength is quiet. It does not need to prove itself. It does not hide behind rules. It flows naturally in relationships, choices, and presence. Take this awareness into your life. Choose openness when possible. Protect yourself when necessary, but never at the cost of your heart. Growth, connection, and real love are waiting. If you are still here, like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us to keep growing. Stay sharp. See you in the next one.